Hi, it's Tina here. Thanks for being with me. I'm going to today do an update on the small business grants. So if you've been around, thank you. And as you might have already seen in previous videos, I have talked about some of the available grants. So this here is going to be an update. I'm going to first go through a couple of the grants that have now expired. They're no longer taking applications, but I have come across a few more that are available, and also quickly review some of the ones that are currently available that I've already mentioned in prior videos, just so that you don't have to, I don't have to go see the other, the previous video. So anything current that I'm aware of, I'm gonna let you know here in this video. And again, I'll share all the links below in the description box, so you can quickly jump over to those websites then and get more clarification and more information from them. So again, thank you for being here with me. If you find this video helpful, I definitely appreciate that you give it a like, and then subscribing to this channel also helps me a great deal. It just makes these videos more viewable to other people and kind of boosts the algorithm, or the Googleify effect or whatever you want to say. So I appreciate that very much. So a couple of the grants that have now ended are the Facebook Small Business Grant Program for Black-owned businesses, as well as the Ladies Who Launch Grant Mentorship and Community Program. And then the other one that I had talked about that has now expired is the LISC, L-I-S-C, Small Business Relief Grant. Those have now ended, but I would keep an eye out in case more funds become available through these programs. So for instance, the LISC grant, they did say that this was the final round, but I would still jump on their mailing list that is on their site, because if for some reason they get more funds and then they open up another round, then you would get notification rather than trying to just remember to go back and look in their site later. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on into the websites so that you can actually see them as I'm talking about them. So this first one that I've heard about is called the Red Backpack Fund, and it's backed by Sara Blakely, who is, I believe, the designer or the founder of the Spanx. So if you're a lady, you probably know what Spanx is, and she's got a fund out there available. This fund is not for sole proprietors. So if you're a business of one, you will not qualify. You have to have at least 2 employees. And again, as I'm sure that it says, it's going to be for a grant that's towards a women-owned business. And it'll be at least 1,000 grants of $5,000 to each female entrepreneur in the United States. So you can start your application here, and then you'll also be able to find out more information about this grant. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on all of these grants, because I know your time is important, and if it's not something that sounds like it's of interest to you, then there's no point in me talking ad nauseum about them. I will say that the deadline for this one is September 15th at 12 o'clock Eastern time, so 12 p.m. Eastern. So you want to make sure that if you're even thinking about this grant, that you start filling out the application right away, because today is the 9th, and so the 15th is going to be upon us quite quickly here. So again, I'll have all the links in the description below this video, and it'll be the link to the Backpack Fund as well as the FAQ page, so you can get more information on exactly what would be required for you to apply for this grant and what would make you qualify or not be qualified. The next few grants I'm going to talk about are extremely location specific. And I'm talking about them anyway because I want to kind of make you aware of the importance of keeping an eye out for grants that are in your location. So again, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk more specifically about Google searching and Google notifications. But again, I just kind of want to give you a glance too at what's happening as far as now. The CARES Act had this money way up high, and it was like the SBA and the EIDL and PPP loans. And then this money was also given to states, and then the states are putting it out to counties and cities. So as these funds continue to trickle down, you'll want to keep an eye out on grants that are becoming available in your state, in your county, in your city, etc. So this first one that I come across is for the city of Topeka. So that's Kansas. And let's see. I have an article that I found as well as then this site. And this grant appears to be going to be more for low to moderate income. And they're also going to focus on women-owned and minority-owned as a preference. The grants are up to $20,000 each. So I'm not sure exactly what the grant amounts will be or how they're going to play that out. But again, I'll give you the links, and then you can kind of read into more details if you think that this grant might be something that you qualify for. And I believe that the application process opens up October 1st. So you actually have some time to do some research before this grant even opens up to the public to start applying for it. The next location of grant that I came across is Energize, Colorado. So for the entire state of Colorado, they've got what's called a GAP fund. And so this is going to be a grant and loan opportunity. The grant will be up to $15,000. So it doesn't say you'll automatically get $15,000, but up to $15,000. And then the loan amount would be of $20,000. So again, if you think that this is something that would interest you, I highly suggest you look into it in a little bit more detail. I cannot tell you right off the bat if you have to take the loan to get the grant. That's something you'll need to research on your own. But again, this is for the entire state of Colorado, and I believe that it is for small businesses. But it's always important to, again, research the FAQ and just kind of get an idea of whether or not you would qualify. Don't immediately dismiss yourself as you're probably not going to. I think the big difference on some of these grants is some you have to have a minimum of 2 employees, and that means that it cuts out anyone who's a sole proprietor. But many of these, it includes sole proprietors. Like for instance, if you look just in the description, it'll provide more than $25 million to small businesses in the form of grants and loans. Sole proprietors, businesses, and nonprofits with less than 25 full-time employees can apply. So even if you're just a business of 1, you could qualify for this grant and apply for it. And like I said, there's a video, there's so much more information that you can find out through this link if, again, you're interested in it. And it says priority will be given to Black-owned, Indigenous, people of color, veterans, women, and people that are in rural areas, and so forth. Okay, moving on. The next one is the Fresno area, California. So if you're in the Fresno area, then you can check out these grants. Now, I don't believe that you have to be a Hispanic-owned business to qualify. It's just that it happens to be in connection with the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. So again, read into this in more detail. But again, I don't think that you have to be of Hispanic background, but likely, as with most of these grants, if you are minority-owned, you are given some like extra points towards getting the grant. And as you can see here, you can get more information in a variety of languages as well. And I believe they also have a helpline. So if you have questions, you can ask them more questions. And in the description, I'm going to have the link to this page that you're looking at right now. But I'm also going to have the links to these two different applications. So don't get thrown off here. If you look at this, it says City of Fresno, Save Our Small Business, and then let's see if I'm not even on the right page here that I wanted to be on for you. Okay, this is the page I really want to show you. It looks like it's the same thing, but I think that these are two different applications. City of Fresno, Save Our Small Business, and then the Small Business Grant Program. So the applications look different, and I'll share the links for the two different applications. This one on the left says between $5,000 and $10,000, whereas the one on the right is just $5,000. So again, I would encourage you, if you're within the Fresno area, that you go ahead and apply for both, not one or the other, because it looks like that they are two different applications, and they give numbers, which is nice. So then you can call and ask for help. And they have a lot more information here. And again, in other languages that can help you, so that you, if English is not your first language, then they can help you out in your native language. So again, I'll share this site here, and then also the two different application sites in the description below. That again was for Fresno County, California. Okay, the next state one is Texas. And I ran across this site, and it's called the LIFT Fund, liftfund.com. And in here, you can see they've got several different areas of Texas located. But when I click on each one, it looks like most of these have already expired. So the Texas Unity, the City of San Antonio, the Laredo one, those all look to have already expired. But the El Paso grant looks to still be open. So I'll share this link as well as the El Paso link. And the El Paso, Texas deadline is September 15th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, the reason why I'm going to share the Lift Fund website as well as the El Paso grant program is this. These are constantly cycling through, and new ones are constantly coming up. So if you are located in Texas, I highly suggest you keep an eye on this site, the Lift Fund site, because it's quite possible a new one in Texas opens up, and then this gives you another opportunity to see that happening and to apply. So even though these other ones have already closed out and only the El Paso one is still open, there might be more added to this site. So that's why I think it's a good idea sometimes to just bookmark these sites on your computer or on your phone, what have you, so that you can refer back to them occasionally to see if a new one has opened up. Okay, so the last specific site one I have is Vancouver. So Vancouver, Washington, and Clark County. And this one appears to be anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000 for a small business relief grant. And you can see right here that the deadline is September 12th at 5 p.m. Pacific. So you'll definitely want to hurry up and get your application in for that one as well. And again, you can find out more information here. They do offer English and Spanish applications, as well as, I could not tell you exactly what language this is, but again, they have it offered in 3 different languages. It tells you what you need to apply. And then if you have questions, you can reach out to them at their website. So those are, again, very specific to certain areas, but this is why I keep saying using your Google search or Google alerts to alert you when certain grants come up in your area is so important, because as this CARES Act money starts to trickle down from the state level to more local levels, you'll still continue to see more grants opening up. Okay, so let me go and kind of just quickly cover some of the grants that I've already covered in other videos, just so you don't have to have me directing you over there. And again, I'll have the links to all of these in the description below the video. So I know, again, I'll say this as I did in other videos, I know TikTok can be very controversial, but if you're thinking of doing ads in TikTok, this is a program that you could take advantage of. It is a $300 ad grant. So this isn't money that comes to you monetarily, but it is money that they would make available to you to spend as ads within TikTok. Now, I did this myself, and I did not supply them any financial information at all. So if you're concerned about that and you don't want to provide them with any financial documents, that's perfectly up to you, and that's fine. And you should be able to access this without doing so. The other thing is that they do, once you get in there, they say, oh, now match it. For every dollar you put in, we'll match it $1. You don't have to put any money in here either to have access to that $300 ad grant money. So just to make you aware that if you feel a little bit uncertain about this whole thing, just know that you don't have to put your own monies in here, and you don't have to provide financial information, and you should still be able to access the $300 in ad spend credit. But you can find out more information here on the site. And again, I understand the whole political part of it all, and that's up to you to decide. I just want to let you know that it's still available if you choose to use it. Kind of the same thing with Facebook, you know, love it or hate it, they have a small business grant program running, and it currently is, the last time I checked, not running anymore for anyone in the United States, Canada, and one other country that I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But do notice that you have to have at least 2 employees. So for all the sole proprietors out there, this is not going to work for you. But if you're in other countries and you're finding it hard to find grants in those countries, you can see here, hopefully, as I pulled this little, clicked on this little tab here, there are many country locations in this list here. Some do have openings now, and some are quote unquote coming soon. So again, I just encourage you, whatever country that you're in, aside from like the United States, as you can see, or Canada, as you can see, they're no longer doing applications. But if you're in a country outside of the United States and you'd like to see if there's possibly some type of grant or just ad spend available to you through Facebook, you can check out this link. The next one that I have already talked about before was the Business for All Hello Alice grant. It's a grant loan membership program. And right now they're in they called it the BFA grant. So the deadline for that is September 25th at 12 a.m. Pacific. And again, this is a bit of a grant mentorship sort of program. So it's not like they're just going to give you the money and that's the end of it. I believe that there's sort of a program behind it so that they can mentor and provide you with more than just the funds. So that's a great opportunity there that is still open. I cannot recall if you need to be at least a business of 2. So that's something that you'll need to check into there. It might be for solopreneurs as well. But again, you can check out the FAQ page and just really dive into it more to see if this is something that you'd be interested in. They will have a grand prize, runners-up, finalists, and so forth. So again, that's something that's still open if you'd like to check that out. Then the other one is, the site is IFundWomen. So the IFundWomen grants is a page here that they've got, and it lists a whole bunch of different grants and so forth. So not only do they have grants, but they also have some other resources available for people. So even if the grant is already closed, then you might be able to find some other information that can kind of just give you better direction and so forth. So I'm looking again here, and I think now they have the link that that this grant is closed. And I'm wondering if this is the one I was going to share with you. I think this might be a different one. So I'm still going to share this other tab with you. And it's IFundWomen of Color. And again, I think it's a little bit different of a regular grant program. This is in partnership with Caress, the brand Caress. And it's grants, coaching, and a few other things. So it's a little bit different. But again, I highly suggest that you go ahead and check it out and see if it is something that would be great for you. And you can kind of see here that they've had where it looks like it was sort of a crowdfunding type thing. And I'm not for certain, but it does look like it, even if they're closed out and they're not taking any more applications, even though it says apply today, that at least they also have other information for you, like exclusive networking, access to private Slack community, workshops, promotional opportunities. So again, I'll share these links in the description so that you have them. If they sound like something that you'd be interested in, you could take advantage of them. Next is just this article I ran across. It's from the Harvard Business School, and it's how to help small businesses survive COVID's next phase. And I think it's a nice little article. It might be something that you find interesting. So I figured I would just go ahead and share it. It talks about 3 moves small business owners can take now. So focusing on social media, reaching out to your customers, just kind of things that you might find beneficial information for you. I do think as a consumer, especially if you do have a brick and mortar store, I'd say keeping in contact with your customers is so important. So think about it from your own point of view. Where can I go and still get products or services? Or if it's a restaurant, can I eat inside? Do I have to order ahead of time? Can I come in and order? All of those things that even if you're updating your social media sites so that people easily know what your hours are and what the procedures are to use your services or purchase your goods is so important. Let them know how they can serve you and how you're serving them during this time. So I'm going to share a link to this article as well in case that you find something in there beneficial to you. Okay, I think I accidentally clicked out of sharing my screen. Apologies. Okay, so this is just Chrome, and the reason why I've got Chrome up is because, so for instance, you're searching for something specific in your area. So if I were to look for Wisconsin grant for small business, and then it's going to give me a lot of search results. So as you're probably seeing the same thing, but you can go into your settings, do advanced search, and then you can do last update like the past week. And so it's going to give me a little bit more specific information that just recently came out. So as you can see, 5 days ago, 6 days ago. This is going to be beneficial to you for looking for specifics, either specifically in the location you're in or the type of business you're in. So say there's grants out there for people who are in the arts and or within the food and beverage, things like that. So you can search more specifically either in your location or within the type of business that you're in. The last thing I want to talk to you about is Google Alerts. So when you do a Google search, that's great, but then to constantly have to hop in and do the searches might be a little arduous. You can also set up alerts. So this is a great way to do like small business grant COVID, and then your location, or possibly if you're in like the food and beverage, so maybe restaurant. So if you want to do something extremely specific, and then you can create an alert. So anytime these keywords come up, you'll get an email. Now hit the options button, so you can do once a day, or you could do as it happens, or just once a week, so that you're not getting like really bombarded. And then you can choose like sources. So if you wanted to just do only blogs or news, and then if you have a specific language you prefer it in, if you're looking at specific regions, so if you wanted to do other than the United States, you could do other regions. And then also how many, so all results, only the best results, that kind of thing. And then what email do you want that sent to? So you can create alerts that way, and you can create several alerts. So you can choose the ones that best would help you out. So you could have an alert for your area. You can have an alert for the type of business that you're in and things like that. So you can set up several alerts. And that's the last tip that I would suggest to you. Now, one last couple of things I will talk about here is, for some of you who have been following me, you know that I did apply for the EIDL. And then I got the denial that there was unverifiable information, and around I went. And now the last thing has been that they asked for specific financial information. And I did send that to them, and I used a read receipt attached to my email, which I do encourage people to use, because I do think that helped trigger them acknowledging, reading, and accepting that email. So at this point, I have not heard anything since they acknowledged receiving the email with my financial information attached. So not really any new updates on that, other than the fact that I'm still in limbo there. Now, just a couple things I will say about the EIDL is that probably like everyone else, I've heard rumors that at some point they could go back, and for all those that were given $1,000 grant money per employee, that each business would be given more funds to equal the original $10,000 that was talked about being given. And so for that reason, as well as if at some point they do have more funds that come in for the grant, then I'm hopeful that at least I would see the $1,000 grant. And the other thing is that from what I've heard, they said there's no more grant money available to new applicants, but I'm not a new applicant. So does that mean there's funds in there for the ones that are still being processed? Who knows? They really don't give out a lot of information. So I'm still just going to continue to go through the process and see what happens. And there's basically no new news on the EIDL from me personally with my experience, but I encourage everyone to just keep going through the process, and hopefully you'll come out the other side, and that you are given the grant funds. One other thing I wanted to say was, as you probably see by the name of this site, Transcription Services, this is something that I've been doing from home for over 20 years now. So if you are looking for something to do from home for income, or you know of someone who is and they think transcription might be for them, then please do check out my other website, myofficeowl.com. I do offer training, and it's ridiculously low priced, specifically because I know when I started out, funds are tight, and to buy an expensive course is just not feasible. So I've specifically priced this very low for that reason. However, I do believe that I've offered quite a bit of content within that transcription biz basics course in order to help others get started in this business. More people are working from home, and although the AIs have tried to take over doing transcription for humans, there is just nothing like a human transcribed audio video file. So there is opportunity to make money working from home as a transcriptionist. So if you know of anyone who's interested, I'll have that site linked in the description below, and you can check it out. I do also have free learning on that site, so you can take advantage of that as well. I appreciate so much that you're here with me. I think we're all in this together, and especially as we get into now school starting and all the craziness with that. And I'm in the Midwest, so the weather is getting kind of crappy. So I just hope that you are all doing well, stay energized, and that you take care. Again, I appreciate you're here with me. I do thank you very much if you like this video, if you find it helpful, and definitely subscribe to the channel. That just helps with the weird Google Analytics channel and whatever, you know, gets more people to be able to see this content. And hopefully these grants are helpful to you so that you can have the extra funding that you need to keep on keeping on. So thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye. See you soon.